What's up, guys? Void here, coming back at you all with another top 10 video. This time we're going to be going over the 10 best cards to go with for Dinosaur Tribal for pre-release coming up this weekend. And I wanted to kind of stray away from Commander here for a little bit because I know that's all I do, and I want to make other videos to just prove to you guys that I'm knowledgeable in other aspects of Magic the Gathering, not just Commander. So this is just going to be a video that's going to help people who maybe don't necessarily know what direction they want to go to. Just by looking at the set so far, all of the cards that we are getting, it's very easy to tell that dinosaurs are going to be the biggest threat in pre-release. It makes sense. Usually creature-based decks or creature-based tribes tend to do a lot better in the limited environment. We don't usually see control colors do too well. You know, Esper's not going to do very well. Dimir, you know, Zorius, we're not going to see a whole lot of those types of decks. And the other tribes, merfolk, pirates, and vampires, just don't really seem to have enough power in their ranks. I just don't really see enough good value cards that are going to match up well against dinosaurs. So there might be some decent removal. You have Walk the Plank, which is the 2-mana black sorcery speed removal spell that can deal with dinosaurs, but again, it's just one card. It's an uncommon, so it's not going to be consistently seen. We have some removal in white. It's mainly just cards that exile, cards that kind of do arrest type effects, but those aren't very efficient either. They're quite expensive for what they do. It just seems that dinosaurs have the numbers. They have all these awesome, gigantic, hasty creatures. And on top of that, we have some good cards to support them. So in the limited environment, there's just no doubt about it that in Naya, for dinosaurs, there's just a ton of options. So let's go over some honorable mentions here. By the way, before I get into this list here, I want to basically just say right here, none of the cards on this list are going to be rares or mythics, mainly because in a pre-release, in a limited environment in general, you do not depend on getting rares or mythics. You have to go off of the uncommons and commons and just the good value limited cards, and a lot of those aren't rares and mythics. You can't depend on getting the 6-mana dinosaur that's a 7/6 trample and hexproof that can't be countered. I mean, that dinosaur is really good, and it's most likely going to cement your decision to go with dinosaurs if you happen to get that one, but it is a mythic and you're likely not going to get it. So honorable mentions here: Sky Terror, almost made the list, but I then decided, you know, it is 2 mana for a 2/2 flyer. It does have menace, which is a good thing, but it is 2 different colors, and it does require you to invest in going with more of a Naya-based strategy, because I just don't think there's enough to play Boros dinosaurs. I mean, there could be, but a lot of the strengths in this tribe is going to be with green and a lot of support that you get from the green cards. There are 2 very good support cards that are on this list upcoming here that are not actual dinosaurs or creature cards, but they support the tribe so well that you have to consider them. I myself would prefer to go with Gruul, just based off of what we're going to see here. Then we have Dinosaur Stampede, a 3-mana red instant where all of your attacking creatures get +2/+0 until end of turn, and dinosaurs you control gain trample until end of turn. So the main benefit here is that your dinosaurs get trample. Nothing too special though. If you would have to choose between this and a good 3-drop dinosaur, I highly doubt you're going to choose this over it, but it could be something if you're absolutely desperate to go with. Then we have Thrash of Raptors, a good 4-drop here. It's a 3/3, but it gets +2/+0 if you control another dinosaur. It also has trample, so it's going to be able to deal a lot more damage, but it is a 4-drop. It is a little bit more expensive there. Maybe if you're absolutely desperate, I think it's a good quality red creature. I think it's something that you could definitely include into your decks. Bellowing Aegisaur, pumping your whole team up. Well, with the exception of itself, it doesn't get +1/+1 counters on itself, which is a main reason why it's not on the list. So it's easier to deal with. It doesn't have any other keywords, but it has the whole Enrage keyword, which is going to be something I bring up multiple times on this list because there are awesome ones with Enrage, and it's such a good keyword here. And getting +1/+1 counters on your other creatures. If you are invested in white, I see white being more of a splash color. It's going to be mainly Gruul dinosaurs with a slight splash of white. This is definitely a good reason to splash white. Suncrown Hunter is another good 6-drop. Whenever it is dealt damage, it deals 3 damage to a target player. So you basically get to Lightning Bolt a player whenever it's dealt damage. Great incentive for not blocking it. Just an incredible creature there. Then Thundering Spineback, probably going to top out your curve. The 7 drop, but it gives your other dinosaurs +1/+1, and you get to pay 6 mana to get a 3/3 dinosaur with trample. So good value. If you're able to get it out, it's likely going to put in a lot of work, getting you a ton of tokens. Let's get it onto the list here. Number 10 is Kinjali's Collar. Considering the fact that dinosaurs don't really have a lot of good 1-drops, likely going to be playing a lot of 5-drops, things like that, you're going to need something that makes them cheaper considerably, and even if it's just 1 cheaper, it's worth it, it's good. The fact that it's a 1-drop with 3 toughness, it's going to stay on the board, and it's likely not going to be a threat worthy of removal, so you're likely going to have a decently costed creature that's going to be a good reason to play white. I mean, we're going to play a lot of dinosaurs, a lot of them are going to be higher CMC, so why not? Number 9 is Raptor Hatchling. Would have been higher if it was possible for it to stay alive. I mean, you could give it buffs. There are some enchantments. I believe there's one that's like Swashbuckling, right? It gives +2/+2 and haste, so it could pump it up to where it doesn't have to die. If it's dealt damage, you get a 3/3 green dinosaur with trample. That's a lot of value if it's dealt damage, so it might be a good reason to pump it up. Maybe give it +1/+1 counters. There are some cards in the set that do that. But just a good value 2-drop. I mean, there's a lot of good value red and green creatures here, which is mainly what I'm going to stress here. Just go with Gruul dinosaurs, and if you have the support for white, go with it and just make Naya, but I just don't really see a good enough reason to rely on white yet. Next, we have Pillar of Origins, a very good card for dinosaurs because, again, we are going to be playing a lot of higher CMC creatures. We want something that's going to synergize perfectly, and this does. It only works for our dinosaur creatures, which is perfectly fine. We only really need to do that. We can make a whole deck with no other cards except for just dinosaurs, and maybe this card, and it's going to ramp us up 1, which is very good. We don't really have a whole lot of ramp that's non-tribal based in this whole set, so you might as well go with that. Number 7 is Ranging Raptors, a 2/3 for 3 mana. It's a green creature, and whenever it's dealt damage, you get to search your library for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield tapped. That is insane. Hopefully you can keep it alive long enough to where you benefit from this and just take all the lands out of your deck so that all you're drawing are just awesome dinosaurs, because that's really what this card is meant to do. And honestly, I'm not really going to be looking for any better 3-drops for this. There's really only one other that I can think of, which I'm going to bring up later, but this is just an awesome creature. Number 6 is Drover of the Mighty. Another good ramp card. At worst, it's just going to get you 1 green mana, but it can get +2/+2 if you control a dinosaur. So it goes from being a 1/1 for 2 to a 3/3 for 2, which is just good value and limited, if you have another dinosaur. So chances are you're going to be playing a dinosaur tribal deck, so it's not going to be hard at all. And also gets you 1 mana. Not bad. Number 5 is Savage Stomp. Basically the prey upon for dinosaurs. It costs 2 less to cast if it targets a dinosaur, so it just costs 1 green. And it gives a +1/+1 counter on your dinosaur, and then it fights another target creature. So that is just pure value for dinosaurs. We don't really need a whole lot of other removal. That's just perfect. That's all we need. Fighting is green's way of dealing with problem creatures, and why the hell not? Number 4 is Territorial Hammerskull. Easily the best 3-drop that you can play, and really the main reason why I would consider white in draft at all, because of this card. I mean, this guy is just amazing. He attacks. He is a 2/3, so he's just going to deal 2 damage, but the implications here are that you're going to have a ton of dinosaurs out there, or at least some very powerful ones. And if you're able to tap down a creature just based off of an attack trigger, that's insane. White does a lot of these things pretty well, and having this on a dinosaur is going to incentivize you to play white in your decks. Go with Naya, but if you don't happen to get this, then just abandon white altogether. That's just my feelings on it. Maybe Kinjali's Collar is another one that you think it's worthy enough to play white. I mean, this guy right here, if I happen to get him for pre-release, I'm definitely going to be putting white into the deck. Pretty good. Number 3 is Charging Monstrosaur, a 5/5 red creature who's a 5/5 with haste and trample. That is just great value. I mean, you can't really ask for a much better 5-drop for this type of deck that we want to make here. I mean, pair it up with the Territorial Hammer Skull, you play the Charging Monster Store, and you can just tap something down and just swing in with both. I mean, that's a lot of damage you can deal with this dude here. That's 5 damage, trample with haste. Great value, especially if you want to go the whole Gruul route. Number 2 is Snapping Sailback. This guy is insane. He might as well just be doubling for removal, because he does have flash. He is a 5 mana green dinosaur. It's a 4/4, so alright. You flash him into play though. Whenever he's dealt damage, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on him. Yet another example of how this enrage trigger is just insane. Imagine just your opponent thinking that they're just going to go all in, or maybe with their merfolk or their dinosaurs or whatever they're playing, and they're getting all cocky. You flash this into play, kill one of their creatures, it's dealt damage, it gets a +1/+1 counter, and the rest of the game you have the advantage because you have a 5/5 that, you know, if they deal more damage to it, it's just going to get bigger. So it's going to force them to have to deal with it sooner or later. If they don't, they're going to run out of creatures, they're going to run out of power and toughness that's going to be able to deal with it, and sooner or later they're just going to die. Amazing. Probably the best dinosaur to draft. Easily. The best 5-drop. Aside from the whole Charging Monstrosaur, I definitely feel that Snapping Sailback is the best one, because the flash is just insane. It gives that utility that you don't see with the other dinosaurs. It's unexpected. It's something that your opponents aren't going to expect. They're going to expect you just to cast these normally, and when you have it on flash, that's insane. I definitely feel like this is going to put in a ton of work in pre-release and limited in general. Just a great creature. Number 1 is Commune with Dinosaurs. Insane value off of 1 green mana for this type of environment. Limited, pre-release, amazing. You're going to be looking for dinosaurs primarily. Worst case scenario, you get a land. I've seen so many cards like this where you just whiff. I mean, think of Glint-Nest Crane, where there's a lot of chances where you don't get that artifact. Well, with this, in a deck where you're primarily going to be playing dinosaurs and lands, this isn't going to whiff. I guarantee you this will not whiff. Unless you have like the worst luck and you're playing like 4 other terrible cards that aren't dinosaurs or lands. But yeah, you're just going to get a ton of value. Easily the best card that you can rely on for pre-release, hands down. It's just going to get you so much speed in colors that you normally wouldn't get card draw. You could expect consistency out of blue and maybe black, but you don't really get the power out of those colors. With this, you get a lot of power out of these colors, but you don't necessarily get the consistency and the speed. With this, it definitely gives you consistency and speed because it replaces itself with probably a very good dinosaur. So anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was a help to you if you were looking to build Dinosaur Tribal for pre-release. I definitely would like your guys' feedback. This is something I'm personally going to be running at my own pre-release, so I definitely appreciate any sort of suggestions that you guys might have. Anyway, Void here signing off. You all have a wonderful day and enjoy pre-release.